Welcome to Trump Wire, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. In a nation often divided by ideology and partisanship, where heated debates over rights and freedoms fill the airwaves and social media feeds, moments of true unity are rare and remarkable. Yet, the Supreme Court's rare unanimous decision in National Rifle Association of America versus Vulo sent a powerful and unmistakable message to the country and the world. All 9 justices, liberal and conservative alike, stood together, setting aside their differences to affirm that the First Amendment's protection of free speech is a core American value, one that transcends political divides and personal beliefs. The case brought together unlikely allies, including organizations as ideologically distant as the ACLU and the NRA, who joined forces to defend the principle that government cannot use its power to silence speech it dislikes or disagrees with. Legal experts and commentators noted how this decision reaffirmed the judiciary's crucial role as a guardian of constitutional rights, especially when those rights are threatened by government overreach. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, writing for the court, made it clear: protecting speech from government coercion is not a partisan issue, but a fundamental imperative for any democracy that values freedom. The ruling serves as a powerful reminder that the First Amendment exists to protect even the most controversial or unpopular voices from being suppressed by those in power. By upholding these protections, the court ensures that the marketplace of ideas remains open and vibrant, free from officials who might try to pick winners and losers in public debate, and preserving the foundation of American democracy for generations to come. The legal battle began in New York, a state known for its complex relationship with both gun rights and regulatory power. In the aftermath of the tragic Parkland school shooting, tensions were high across the nation, and the debate over gun control was at the forefront of public discourse. It was during this charged atmosphere that the NRA accused Maria Vulo, then head of the state's Department of Financial Services, of overstepping her authority. The NRA argued that Vulo used her regulatory position to single out the organization, allegedly in response to its political stance on gun rights. According to the NRA, Vulo pressured banks and insurance companies to sever business relationships with the group. She warned these financial institutions about the reputational risk of associating with the NRA, and the NRA claimed hinted that there could be negative regulatory consequences if they did not comply with her suggestions. The heart of the case was a fundamental question: can a government official use their power to punish or suppress a group simply because of its political views? This raised concerns about indirect censorship and the boundaries of free speech protections under the First Amendment. The lower courts were split. While some judges saw Vulo's actions as permissible government speech, others worried about the chilling effect on advocacy groups. Ultimately, an appeals court dismissed the NRA's claims, ruling that Vulo's conduct fell within the bounds of her official duties. The Supreme Court agreed to hear the case, focusing on whether a plausible claim of government threats against free speech should be allowed to proceed. In a rare moment of unanimity, all 9 justices agreed that such claims must be given a chance in court. The case was sent back to the lower courts for further proceedings, but the Supreme Court's decision set a clear standard. Government officials cannot use their power to silence groups based on their viewpoints. Justice Sotomayor's opinion drew a bright line. Government officials may speak out, but cannot use threats of regulatory action to coerce private companies into silencing disfavored views. The court didn't decide if Vulo's actions were proven, but ruled that if the NRA's story was true, it would violate the First Amendment. The difference between persuasion and coercion is crucial. Officials can condemn speech, but not back their words with threats. The ruling warns regulators: wield your power for its intended purpose, not to punish speech you dislike. This precedent protects all advocacy, recognizing the immense influence government agencies hold over private actors. The First Amendment shields citizens from both direct and indirect government retaliation. The message: government power must never be a tool for silencing dissent. The NRA's lawsuit revealed a sweeping campaign of pressure that unfolded in the wake of the Parkland tragedy. a moment when the national debate over gun rights and gun control reached a fever pitch. Maria Vullo, then New York's top financial regulator, sent a series of official letters to banks and insurance companies across the state, warning them that doing business with the NRA could expose them to significant reputational risks and public backlash. These weren't just friendly suggestions or general guidance. They carried the weight of the state's highest financial authority and strongly implied that companies who ignored the warnings might face audits, investigations, or even financial penalties. According to the NRA, there were also secretive closed-door meetings where Vullo allegedly offered leniency on unrelated regulatory violations, if, and only if, the companies agreed to cut ties with the NRA. This, the lawsuit argued, was a textbook example of a quid pro quo, using government power to coerce private businesses. The pressure campaign worked. Major insurers, including industry giant Lloyd's of London, quickly severed their relationships with the NRA, leaving the organization scrambling to find coverage and facing mounting financial strain as a direct result. This case wasn't simply about harsh rhetoric or public criticism, but about explicit government threats that had a tangible, damaging impact on the NRA's ability to function as an advocacy group. The Supreme Court recognized that these real-world consequences, lost contracts, financial instability, and the risk of being shut out of the marketplace, were central to the NRA's First Amendment claim. The ruling sends a clear message. Government officials cannot use their regulatory power to pressure private businesses into blacklisting groups they disagree with, no matter how controversial those groups may be. The chilling effect of such actions is not just theoretical, it's real, and it's unconstitutional. This decision stands as a vital protection for all advocacy groups, ensuring that government officials cannot financially strangle organizations simply because they oppose their views or their mission. The Supreme Court's decision isn't just about the NRA, it's a shield for any group with unpopular views. The First Amendment protects all speech from government coercion, not just speech we agree with. The ACLU supported the NRA's right to be free from intimidation, knowing today's target could be tomorrow's environmental or civil rights group. The ruling ensures government can't use backdoor tactics to create a sanitized public square. It protects the messy, vibrant debate that defines democracy. Advocacy groups across the spectrum now have a safeguard against officials threatening their business partners. The message, the government's answer to speech it dislikes must be more speech, not intimidation. The decision keeps the public square open to all voices, not just the popular ones. For Second Amendment groups, Vullo is a landmark victory against what they call financial deplatforming. The ruling gives them a legal tool to challenge banks or regulators who cut off services under government pressure. Now, a plausible claim of coercion is enough to sue, a major shift. The case arose after Parkland, when emotions ran high and the NRA faced intense criticism, precisely when free speech is most vulnerable. The court affirmed, even in crisis, officials can't sidestep the Constitution to punish advocacy. The decision protects the resources and voice of all advocacy groups, ensuring they can participate in the national debate. The Vullo precedent reaches beyond banking. It's vital in media, where government power and free speech collide. The FCC, which licenses broadcasters, recently faced controversy when its chairman suggested stations could face license trouble for airing content he disliked. Major broadcasters, fearing regulatory backlash, pulled shows like Jimmy Kimmel Live after such comments. The timing suggested a chilling effect. Companies acted to avoid government scrutiny. Legal experts pointed to Vullo. Government officials cannot use regulatory threats to suppress speech. The Supreme Court's unanimous standard now applies. Such coercion is unconstitutional. The ruling is a warning to all regulators. Your power cannot be used to silence critics. The First Amendment's shield extends to every corner of public discourse. The Supreme Court's decision in Vullo isn't about guns. It's about the First Amendment, protecting every American. The ruling applies to all, whether you're a climate activist, a religious charity, or a social justice group. It prevents officials from using their power to silence critics, regardless of political winds. The decision stops the dangerous cycle of partisan suppression, ensuring government power can't be weaponized. It empowers grassroots movements and ordinary citizens to speak, organize, and advocate without fear of financial retaliation. The ruling keeps advocacy groups connected to the financial and commercial systems they need to function. No matter your cause, your right to participate in public debate is protected. This is a victory for the foundational American ideal. All citizens have a voice in our democracy. The Supreme Court's unanimous decision in Impl redraws the boundary on government power, making clear that authority has constitutional limits. Officials can advocate for policies, but cannot threaten regulatory punishment to silence opponents. This distinction is vital to prevent a chilling effect on speech and association. The ruling affirms Americans can support causes and express opinions without fear of government retaliation through their employers or banks. It protects the private relationships essential for civic life and debate. The decision reinforces that government serves the people, not the other way around. By reasserting this principle, the court strengthens the foundation of American liberty. The First Amendment remains a strong shield, ensuring all Americans can speak and advocate freely.